rivalry that doubles as a conference collision. Aetna proudly presents the Missouri Valley Conference Men's Basketball Game of the Week on the Valley on ESPN3 as the Northern Iowa Panthers play host to the Drake Bulldogs. We welcome you inside the McLeod Center in Cedar Falls, Iowa, alongside Kevin Lehman. I am Brad Wells, and the UNI Panthers are in some unfamiliar territory at 0-5 in Valley play, and they're on a 7-game losing skid. Meanwhile, the Drake Bulldogs, after a 1-10 start to the season, they're the surprise story in this valley.
Well, the Bulldogs have some bite in their bark. They have won 4 of their last 6. They've gone over the century mark twice. And for the Panthers, they're getting more consistent offense. Ben Jacobson feels this team is coming along. They've had some scoring droughts. They're getting over that.
They'll be facing one of the rising stars in the Missouri Valley Conference for the Drake Bulldogs, Deontay McMurray, a point guard that distributes the basketball so well, but he can also fill it up.
Well, Deontay Murray, the junior college transfer of the Bulldogs, has some size. He can rock you to sleep and knock in that 3-ball, but here's where he's really good, Brad. He can turn the corner on the ball screen and get to the rim. He's a game changer for the Bulldogs.
And a welcome sight for the UNI lineup. Jeremy Morgan, the Missouri Valley Conference preseason player of the year, missed a game due to an ankle injury.
117 straight starts for Jeremy Morgan. Sat out the Bradley game, and I am the president of the Jeremy Morgan fan club. This may be the most versatile player in America. He does everything for the Panthers, leads them in points, rebounds, assists, and steals. Jeremy Morgan, the difference maker for the Panthers.
And here are today's starting lineups, a presentation of Casey's General Store. Right out at Casey's General Store, get a large or medium pepperoni pizza for only $10. Casey's, famous for pizza. For the Drake Bulldogs, Reed Timmer leads the team with 16.3 points per game. There is McMurray. Wampler, 44 threes on the year. A fun matchup between him and Clint Carlson. Both coaches are keeping an eye on.
Well, we're going to keep on that also because Wampler's going to try to get down court deep in the corner and shoot that 3-ball. Carlson's going to have to find him in transition.
All right, UNI controls the opening tip. And true freshman Juwan McLeod sets up the offense for UNI. The Panthers go inside to Cook. Cook in the lane, a floater, and a good start for UNI.
Great sign for the Panthers. No double team from Drake's defense. Cook, he needs some confidence. That's a great start.
Arogandade from the corner. Can't connect, and Carlson pulls in the rebound. Kevin, the big turnaround for the Drake Bulldogs, Coach Rudder talked about it, is confidence. It's something the UNI Panthers are trying to capture now and get out of this streak.
You saw that quick shot by Ari out of the corner. The average possession for the Bulldogs under Jeff Rudder is 15 seconds, and he was surprised it's that long.
Here's McLeod, gets to the rim. Northern Iowa in front 4-0 here, just 1 minute into this basketball game.
You see Northern Iowa coming out in a zone, a little trap, and now they're switching back to a defense, to a man-to-man defense. Changing things up to slow down this Drake team, take them out of tempo.
Here's Reed Timmer, a junior at 6'1", loses it. The Bulldogs get it back, a heave at the rim by McGlynn.
Excellent defensive possession by Northern Iowa.
Here's Morgan looking to attack. And an offensive foul is called as Deontay McMurray takes the charge. Well, let's get Kevin Lehman's keys to the game, a production of State Farm Insurance. Talk to an agent today at 800 State Farm.
Well, for the Bulldogs, this is about pace and tempo. They're averaging 75 possessions a game under Jeff Rudder. And they got to execute in the half court. We're seeing that already as the Panthers are changing up defense. Panthers, find those shooters, baby.
And a steal off the press. See if UNI can take advantage.
Well, we haven't seen Northern Iowa be this aggressive defensively. Full court pressure. They've trapped in the half court. Usually they're strictly a man-to-man pack-it-in defensive team.
There's another feed inside. Cook going to work against McGlynn, and he took an extra step.
Well, let's see how Bennett Cook reacts to that. Scored on the first possession. Now we'll get a great look at his feet. Left foot's down, spins, drags that pivot foot. Now Bennett Cook has a habit of getting down on himself. He's got to put that behind him and come back and be aggressive next possession.
Drake looking for a good offensive possession here. The Panthers continue to mix it up defensively. Timmer underneath the basket draws the whistle against Bennett Cook. Pretty straight up defense underneath.
Ben Jacobson not happy with that call. His big man Bennett Cook holding his ground, arms to the ceiling. I tell you, Reed Timmer, outstanding scorer for the Drake Bulldogs.
Out of New Berlin, Wisconsin, out of Eisenhower High School. Preseason All-Missouri Valley Conference second team. And that miss breaks a streak of 11 straight free throws made this season.
Well, Reed Timmer is an 80-50-40 guy. He's 80% from the line, 50 from twos, 40 from threes. Highly efficient player for the Bulldogs.
He does put Drake on the board. UNI with baskets from Cook and McLeod. Back to McLeod, tries from downtown, off the rim, and the rebound inside to McGlynn.
Cook almost got one over the back. Bennett Cook cannot pick up his second.
Here's the kick out, McMurray for three, and it's good.
Well, we highlighted that young man, D.T. McMurray. He can turn the corner and penetrate, but he's also excellent at splashing in the three ball. Can stretch your defense.
Morgan wants to try from downtown. The answer rims out. Here comes McMurray for the Bulldogs.
You see Northern Iowa running back with numbers showing to the offense. Their transition defense has to be excellent today, or Drake's going to light them up quick.
Here's McMurray, fires over McLeod, and D.T. McMurray back-to-back threes. The Bulldogs in front.
Hand down, man down. You got to get a hand in that young man's face. McMurray feeling it.
7-0 run for the Drake Bulldogs after a 4-0 lead by UNI. Here's Cook in the lane. The fadeaway gets it to go.
When Bennett Cook gets his balance and turns over that left shoulder, soft touch, he can finish.
2 buckets for Cook early on here for UNI. Here's Timmer getting into the lane, out to Wampler. Rebound to Ashton, and a foul on McGlynn underneath the basket against the Drake Bulldogs. So UNI on a 4-0 run. Drake answers, and they're in front. On ESPN3 is brought to you by Aetna. Aetna invests in game-changing programs that make being healthy simpler and more convenient than ever. Get to know us at Aetna.com. It's the Drake Bulldogs by 1 early on. A couple of three-pointers and a free throw from Reed Timmer. Northern Iowa started with an early lead, 4-0, but Kevin, seems to be a very fast-paced game here.
Well, that was the key for Jeff Rudder. They want to get shots up quickly. They've had 5 attempts. They've all been behind the arc. And if you look at what they've done under Jeff Rudder, first 8 games under 68 a game, and since Jeff Rudder took over and sped up the tempo, 81 points a game. 9 threes, just under 10 threes a game. They've already got 2 down today on 5 attempts.
The shot clock does not get as much work when Drake has the basketball. UNI looking to regain the lead.
Now Drake showed zone and then went man on the first pass. Both teams playing a little chess match to disrupt the other's flow.
UNI working Bennett Cook here early on, draws the foul on Enevold and earns a trip to the free throw line.
Well, here's what Ben Jason's thinking. If they're going to single coverage Bennett Cook, we're going to go inside and let him go to work. Cook, the spin move, tries to come back over the right shoulder, draws the contact.
Enevold, a 7-foot senior out of Denmark. And Cook to the free throw line, 5 points now early on for Bennett Cook. And Coach Ben Jacobson for the UNI Panthers in his 11th season. UNI's all-time winningest coach.
Well, Ben Jacobson has set the standard here at Northern Iowa. They've been the upper division of the Valley every season, 9+ wins. This is a rarity, anomaly. 0-5, trying to get their first W in the Valley.
UNI some full court pressure once again, and a tipped pass by Carlson goes off the leg of Wampler, and UNI gets another turnover out of that full court press.
Well, that time is a little half court, but they're trapping the ball. Drake has to get their spacing, attack the middle of the floor, and then they can get it out to the three-point shooters in the corners.
Spencer Haldeman into the game. Here's Jeremy Morgan looking for his first basket. He gets it right there. Morgan puts the Panthers up by 3 here early on.
And his jump shot is so smooth. That one off the bounce. Rises, shoulder square. Nothing but nylon.
Hannibal draws the double team. Cleared a little space out. Now Wampler in the corner. Shot clock at 10. Drake needs to get a shot off. Cook throws it into the front row.
You can see Haldeman press up, making Woodward drive, and Cook denied access at the rim.
Shot clock set at 3 on the inbounds. It goes up top. Woodward, a step back. It's Morgan on the rebound.
And a shot clock issue there. Woodward had to get it off quick. But this defense has taken Drake out of their rhythm. We talk about this being tempo and a speed game for the Bulldogs.
Spencer Haldeman, UNI on an 8-0 run. And the fourth different Panther to score, and a traveling violation on Woodward. UNI's defense creates another turnover.
Well, their defense is also made it more energetic at the offensive end, and when you make baskets, you defend harder. I really like what they're doing with these traps. Drake has to make some adjustments, get their spacing better, keep the ball off the sidelines.
Foul called on D.T. McMurray for the Drake Bulldogs. And a substitution, Timmer back into the lineup for Drake as McMurray gets a breather after committing his first foul. Haldeman trying to keep things going for UNI.
Using Haldeman to start the offense at that point guard position. McLeod takes a breather.
Carlson for 3. No good, and Timmer on the rebound. Looking for the first basket since the 16-31 mark for Drake. Rivers looking for an answer, and misses badly. Substitution for Drake, T.J. Thomas, a 6'8 junior. Stone Mountain, Georgia, into the game.
Well, Thomas gives the Bulldogs explosiveness inside. He's a bit of a game changer. Not the three-point shooter, but he gets on the offensive glass for the Dogs.
Inside to Cook. Bennett Cook. How about 8 points after scoring 4 for the Panthers on Wednesday in Peoria?
Well, we're seeing the Bennett Cook that we thought we would see this year. He had a great sophomore year, has struggled this season, playing with confidence today.
He's got Northern Iowa in front by 7. They're on a 10-0 run. Drake still looking for answers offensively as Casey Schlaughter can't connect from deep.
If you want to stop a team from running, which Northern Iowa was trying to do with the Bulldogs, put the ball through the net. Tough to run, taking it out of the rim.
Morgan nowhere to go in the corner, gets the 3-ball to fall.
Well, if there's any question about Jeremy Morgan's right ankle, he has answered it in this first 8 minutes.
It's a double-digit lead in the first half. And the UNI Panthers playing with a new intensity that Coach Jacobson has not seen for a couple of weeks.
Well, Brad, they've played the pack line defense. That's what they've been known for. Ben Jacobson has taken this team and extended this defense out. It's energized them at both the offensive and defensive end. Drake back on their heels, have yet to adjust.
12 to go. It's been 4.5 minutes since Drake has made a field goal. Timmer on the wing, blocked by Ashton. McLeod throws it ahead. Ashton with the finish. And UNI leads it by 12.
Creating offense with their defense.
Another turnover committed by the Bulldogs. That's their 4th of the game.
Coach Rudder needs a timeout. Got to organize the troops.
Haldeman just keeps piling it on the Bulldogs. An 18-0 UNI run here in this first half.
And Jeff Rudder waited for the whistle for his timeout. Didn't want to burn one.
The Panthers shooting the lights out of the McLeod Center. Lead it by 15. Going inside and outside. It's a good start for UNI. The UNI Panthers, a fast start in front of the Drake Bulldogs, 22-7 here in the first half. Well, our Missouri Valley Conference standings are a presentation of Purina Dog Chow, always crafted in the USA since 1926. And Kevin, a little separation yesterday. A battle of unbeatens with Illinois State and Wichita State last night. Southern Illinois with a big road win as well.
Well, a game that we called Southern Illinois, Mike Robinson with 2019 in the second half. But the matchup everybody watched was Illinois State, Wichita State at Illinois State's home court. And the Redbirds flexed their muscles. McIntosh with 20, Ante Hawkins with 14. And a great matchup today, Brad. We've got Missouri State at Loyola. Missouri State leading that game right now.
The surprise in those standings is both of these teams. UNI 0-5 in the Valley standings. Drake 3-2 after a 1-10 start to the season. And Coach Jacobson with early wins over Arizona State, Oklahoma. Thought this team would be well and has struggled over the last month of play, but shooting the ball very well here to start this game.
Well, last year at the end of January, the Panthers were 2-6 in Valley play. Fast forward 6 weeks, they were playing to go to the Sweet 16.
Haldeman with 5 points for UNI. Clint Carlson looking for his first bucket. It will not come there. Wampler with the rebound.
Well, we're going to watch that matchup. Wampler on Carlson. Good defensive stand by Billy Wampler.
Wampler from way downtown. Ashton with the rebound.
Well, Wampler's a guy that his arm will wear out before his legs do.
Juwan McLeod, tough matchup with McMurray here today. And throws it away. Arogandade with the steal. Challenging Ashton, can't get it to go. Wampler, the putback, ends a very long Drake Bulldog drought that was over 6 minutes long.
Well, effort play by Billy Wampler, and one of the first times that Drake was able to play downhill.
Foul called on Ori Arogandade, the junior out of Chicago, Illinois. Nick McGlynn checks in for Drake as TJ Thomas checks out. Bennett Cook, Jeremy Morgan back in, Ted Friedman, and Juwan McLeod to the bench for UNI.
And Jeff Rudder, high energy coach, staying positive with his team, trying to get them to get playing a little faster. Now they're in that 1-3-1 zone. They've had great success with this.
Haldeman for three. Cook tips the rebound around, but out to McMurray.
Cook's got to be careful. He's going to get a foul for going over the back.
Inside to McGlynn. Wants to challenge Cook. Up strong, gets his own rebound. No, tipped around. That's Carlson came up with the loose ball for UNI.
Drake showed that 1-3-1 one time, and now back into man-to-man on misses.
Jeremy Morgan draws the foul on Wampler. That is his first. Morgan with 5 points for the UNI Panthers here early on. Looking for a step back three. It's good. Jeremy Morgan testing that ankle out here in this first half. It's feeling just fine.
Well, Ori Ogundade went behind the screen. It gave Morgan enough room to pull the trigger. You're going to have to go to the top of that ball screen on Jeremy Morgan. He will light you up.
You're going to say Drake basketball after Carlson and Wampler both close to the end line.
Well, Jeremy Morgan's pleading his case with Darren George, the official. Darren George will have no part of that.
Our crew tonight, Mike Stewart, Joe DeRosa, Darren George, as you mentioned, and McMurray draws a foul.
Well, I like what McMurray did. He got the switch. He got Carlson on him. Hesitation, explodes to the hoop. He knew that Carlson could not stay between him and the basket. This is where Drake is trying to get some mismatches. Watch, there's the switch. He's going to size him up, blow by. Gets the foul.
It's Carlson's first personal foul in this game. McMurray, free throw line, now has 7.
D-Tape McMurray is excellent at ball screens and able to turn the corner and get going downhill.
McGlynn the offensive rebound. Wampler a deep three, and Cook with the rebound.
Well, Bulldogs, they need Billy Wampler to knock some down.
Haldeman from way outside.
Haldeman, that was from the Unidome.
Here's Haldeman, throws it ahead for Jordan Ashton. Jordan Ashton lays it in. The lead to 17 now for the UNI Panthers.
Well, Jordan Ashton transferred in from Iowa State, a 5th-year senior. He gives some maturity to this Panther team. Been very consistent in Valley play.
McMurray in the lane. Can't get it to go. Drake now 1 for 13.
Well, McMurray's short on that shot. He wants that one back.
Morgan drives, finds an open Ashton, and the UNI Panthers are hitting on all cylinders. 66% shooting, including 4 for 9 from downtown.
Well, Jordan Ashton, we just talked about his confidence. See, he stepped in on that 3 ball as Morgan finds him on the trail.
It's a 26-3 run. UNI just continuing to put the pedal to the metal here in Cedar Falls. Kevin will talk about it coming back. Coaches around the Valley said, don't give up on this UNI basketball team just yet. They're showing why here this afternoon. Today's Eagle Bank MVC Scholar Athlete of the game is UNI's Ted Friedman, a junior from Ankeny, Iowa. Friedman leads the team in offensive rebounds. Friedman has a 3.96 cumulative grade point average in finance, economics, and psychology. It's a 2016 honorable mention MVC Scholar Athlete selection. The official bank of the Missouri Valley Conference, Eagle Bank, where a student's financial future begins.
Drake has made just 1 of their last 13 field goal attempts. And for the Panthers, Jordan Ashton playing with a lot of confidence. He scored the last 5 points for the Panthers.
3 different Panthers have connected from downtown. Morgan has done it twice. This time nowhere to go in the corner, able to knock it in.
You know things are going good when you can pull one out of the corner, square it up, ring the bell.
Morgan with a game high 8 points so far. Drake 1 field goal in their last 13 tries. McMurray still can't get it to go for the Bulldogs, and UNI doing a good job on the boards as well.
Well, one of the keys for Drake was they need to be able to execute in the half court. We felt that Northern Iowa could stop their transition game. The Panthers have done that. The Bulldogs have not been able to be successful against a set defense.
Carlson to Morgan, and Morgan now into double figures with 10.
Well, that's a set play by Ben Jacobson coming out of the timeout.
Wampler wide open in the corner. And the closeout from Luke McDonald not in time.
The Wampler, he's a flamethrower. The Bulldogs got to get Billy Wampler going.
Here's Morgan guarded by C.J. Rivers. Rivers loses his step. Morgan can't get it to go. McMurray back to Wampler, trying to get him going. Too strong that time, and Billy Wampler 1 for 5 from deep. Inside to McDonald, and the reach in on T.J. Thomas. That's his first personal foul.
Now here's another thing we've seen the Panthers do recently. They're actually playing point guard by committee with Morgan, Jordan Ashton, and Spencer Haldeman, Juwan McLeod on the bench. They're letting those three share the ball handling duties. Gives them a bigger lineup, a more aggressive lineup defensively, and a better rebounding lineup.
There's your Carlson-Wampler matchup, and Carlson able to take advantage. Kevin, it was one you thought both players might have an advantage on the offensive end. A tough matchup for each defensively.
When you get Carlson on the elbow, takes away help side defense, his sweep move is unstoppable.
McMurray with 7 points. Wampler with a 3. Gets it in the corner. That's the same spot. No good this time, and Ashton with the rebound.
Well, Northern Iowa has closed on the three-point shooters with hands high.
And that is the 5th three-point basket to fall for UNI. As Jordan Ashton now 2 for 2 from outside.
Ashton with a perfect line from the field. He's got 10 points on 4 field goal attempts. That's efficient.
There's McDonald inside, working against Thomas. Shot won't fall, and Rivers with the rebound.
Well, we've seen McDonald used here in Valley play, a freshman out of Dubuque senior. We're going to play him at the 5 spot, a skilled 5-man for the Panthers.
It's UNI by 24. The trap in the corner, and he bounced it on the end line. Thomas trying to get it back to McMurray. And UNI gets it back. Now 7 turnovers committed by Drake. Rivers checks out. Arugandade into the game. Morgan gets a breather as Juwan McLeod comes in for UNI. Now Drake showing a little half-court pressure, looking to trap.
Well, they've used this 1-3-1 with success. They put Wampler on the top with some length.
And Carlson throws it 2 rows into the stands looking for Ashton. Just lost the handle on it. You see the grin there by Clint Carlson.
Well, it's easier to smile when you're up 37-13. But this trapping defense by Northern Iowa, Drake was not prepared for this.
Thomas out to Woodward. Woodward looking to be the guy to lift him up. And Graham Woodward, a 6-foot junior, transferred from Penn State, able to knock it in. And now McMurray with a near steal. Rudder trying to call a timeout. Officials say jump ball, possession arrow in favor of Drake.
Well, Coach Rudder knows the new rule. He cannot call a timeout during a live ball situation. But the Panthers, they've been on fire in the McLeod Center, 37-16.
Stay tuned for our halftime report, a presentation of State Farm, the assist you need when things go wrong, but always here to help life go right. Team up with an agent today at 800 State Farm. And Kevin, Coach Jacobson will be extremely pleased with what he has seen out of his UNI Panthers in this first half.
And we've got a long connection here with Jeff Rudder. Second from your left, and next to him is Ben Jacobson. They were together on the staff with Greg McDermott. Jeff Rudder, 3 years as an assistant here at Northern Iowa. He's still got some purple in his closet. And 3 NCAA tournament appearances by the Panthers during those 3 years of Jeff Rudder and Ben Jacobson together.
There's some banners hanging here in the McLeod Center from their NCAA tournament trips in 2004, 2005, 2006. Coach Jacobson has added a few more in 09, 2010, and the last 2 years, 15 and 16. Panthers back in the big dance. And a good friendship between the two, Kevin. You know, Coach Jacobson mentioned that he was one of the guys Coach Rudder talked to during the transition to him becoming named interim head coach here at Drake.
Well, Brad, they weren't not exchanging any phone calls or text messages this week.
No, no, definitely not. Game week with Drake and UNI on the schedule. It's one for focus and complete attention. So far, the UNI squad showing their complete attention and focus. McMurray did not get it off. Woodward thought he had an extra couple seconds on that possession. That UNI defense is just hounding the Bulldogs so far here today. 8 turnovers already.
We talked about the key for Drake was to play with tempo. Northern Iowa has made them play half-court offense. They've struggled to execute in the half-court.
Here's Slaughter at the top of the Bulldogs zone defense.
Now Drake with 11 turnovers in the last 3 games in their first half. They've got 8 today.
Haldeman, a deep 3, and the rebound pulled in by Thomas. Timmer looking to run. Fires the 3, and it's good. Reed Timmer. Maybe a little push off there, but knocks in the big 3. And it's an 18-point UNI lead.
Well, there's the tempo that Jeff Rudder wants. And if Drake can get that, this lead is not insurmountable.
McDonald out to Morgan, over to Haldeman. Cannot answer the call, and Woodward up top for Drake.
Well, sometimes long shots lead to long rebounds. Helps you start your fast break, but the Panthers back again at their defensive set.
Aro Gandade gets it to go. Strong move into the lane.
And he gets the members roll on that rim. Panthers have to face this 1-3-1 again.
After leading by 24, Drake on an 8-0 run here.
Well, this defense, they've had some success.
Morgan, nice feed into McDonald. He'll go to the free throw line. TJ Thomas picks up his second personal foul, and Luke McDonald, a 6'9", redshirt freshman out of Dubuque Senior High School. And so McDonald up to the free throw line. Yet to score here for UNI, but the Panthers with 6 different players on the board. Make it 7. First free throw is good. And Billy Wampler into the game for TJ Thomas. Second free throw pushes the lead back to 18. Timmer, top of the key 3. No good, and the rebound falls right into McDonald's lap. UNI looking for their first basket in over 3.5 minutes. Morgan drives, has it picked from behind by Woodward. The throw ahead. Haldeman challenging and gets whistled for the foul as Graham Woodward attacking the rim in transition. Take another look. Woodward set it up, poking it away from Morgan. And Timmer throws it ahead. Haldeman challenging Woodward down underneath.
And we'll see if Drake goes back to that 1-3-1 half-court trap. It's gave the Panthers some problems the last couple possessions.
Woodward's free throws makes it a 16-point game. Minute 20 to play. Half-court pressure continues.
What it's doing, Brad, is making the Panthers play around the edge. They've got to penetrate the seams of this zone.
Ashton 2 for 2. How about 3 for 3 from downtown for Jordan Ashton? He's got 13 now to lead the Panthers.
Or you can just step up and knock a 3-ball in against it. Either way works.
Arogandade looking for the answer. Left it short. Carlson the rebound, and UNI will slow it down here. In the final 40 seconds of this first half, and a timeout taken by UNI. Kevin up 19. Look to run that shot clock down as much as you can.
Let's see if they take a quick shot to get a 2-for-1 in this situation. You want to shoot it quickly here, and you might get 2 possessions out of this for the Panthers.
All right, well, we take a look at some Missouri Valley Conference wins. Kevin, over the past 7 seasons, Wichita State 90 victories. Northern Iowa number 2 in wins over the last 7 years with 67. One of the most.
You've got Indiana State in there too, and that's the 2 teams at the bottom of the standings. So we see some things change, but if you mentioned, Brad, these are 2 teams, Northern Iowa and Indiana State. You know they're going to get their act together, teams you don't want to play in late January, February, and early March.
Absolutely. Indiana State getting their first Missouri Valley Conference win of the season yesterday. And the UNI Panthers off to an extremely good start here. Could be on their way to their first conference victory.
And they're going to run the clock down now. And Drake will get the last possession.
McDonald out to Morgan. And a 3-ball for Morgan. That's 7 3-pointers now. The Panthers 50% from downtown.
Timeout called by the Bulldogs.
We take another look as Drake calls a timeout. Morgan eyes it, knocks it down. 3 for 4 from outside. And Kevin, Jeremy Morgan, Jordan Ashton, each with 13 points. They have been just shooting lights out here this first half.
Well, Brad, the 3-ball makes up for a multitude of sins. And when you can knock that in, it energizes your defense. We've seen a Panther team that have struggled in the past with offensive execution. Not so today. They are hitting on all cylinders.
So there is a look at Morgan. He is all smiles as the UNI Panthers all smiles here in this first half. A 22-point lead. Drake looking for one last bucket here before halftime.
Look for a ball screen here for Timmer.
Timmer gets by McLeod. The finger roll lay-in. And that is how we finish the first half. Northern Iowa leads it by 20. Jeremy Morgan and Jordan Ashton each with 13 points here. As we check in with Northern Iowa head coach Ben Jacobson for today's Casey's General Store plans for the second half. Kevin?
Coach, we saw some trapping defense out of you in the first half. Tell us what you're doing out there.
Well, we haven't guarded anybody very good here of late, KL. So we thought we'd trap them a couple times and see what happened, and they turned it over, so we stayed with it.
Well, it seemed to energize you at the offensive end also.
It did. It helped us at that end of the floor. And we've played offense pretty well here in the last 10 days, 2 weeks, but that really jump-started us.
Thanks, Coach. Back to you, Brad.
All right. Thank you very much, Kevin. Our chat with Coach is brought to you by Casey's General Store. Casey's, famous for pizza. Well, that energy Coach was talking about that came from the defense sparked the UNI offense. 7 3-pointers in that first half. Jeremy Morgan with 13 points. Jordan Ashton with 13 points. And it's UNI by 22 at the half. The Valley on ESPN3 is brought to you by Casey's General Store. Casey's, famous for pizza. It's time now to get Drake head coach Jeff Rutter's plans for the second half, a presentation of Casey's General Store. Kevin?
Coach, Coach, tough first half for you. What can you do to get back into this thing in the second half?
Well, you know, every game's a different puzzle. They did a good job. Jake and UNI did a good job with that first pass trap, and it got us out of sorts. There's no doubt. As the half went on, you know, we figured out maybe the attack that we needed. Hey, you always want to stay aggressive. You know, break that trap, attack the score, get into a flow type offense. It's going to be a little easier for us in the second half, knowing that we've got the offense in front of us, get to some structure maybe late in the shot clock.
Okay, Coach, thanks. Good luck the first half.
Thank you, Kevin.
Chat with Coach is brought to you by Casey's General Store. Casey's, famous for pizza. Well, Aetna, the official presenting sponsor of the Valley on ESPN3, proudly brings you the second half of our MVC Game of the Week. As the Drake Bulldogs are in Cedar Falls taking on the UNI Panthers. The Panthers 0-5 in Missouri Valley Conference play. And the Drake Bulldogs, after a 1-10 start to this season, Kevin, they've been the darling story of the Valley so far, but the UNI Panthers in this game, they've been the success story.
Been outstanding at the offensive end. Drake comes out in a zone. Patience by Northern Iowa. Get the ball in the middle of the court. Little high-low dump down. Bennett Cook with the finish.
Timmer tries to get it going. Ashton with the block from behind, but I think they got Cook on the foul on that lower block. So Timmer goes to the free throw line for the Bulldogs. That's the second on Cook.
I like the way that Cook reacted in the first half when he picked up that early foul. It didn't let it bother him. We've got the same thing here in the second half.
Let me correct that. Third personal foul now on Bennett Cook, the big man inside for UNI.
And we'll see if Ben Jason lets Cook play with three. And you heard Jeff Redder say, hey, we got our offense in front of our bench in the second half. It'll give us opportunities to organize our structure against Northern Iowa's trapping defense. Drake going to extend their defense again. They had some success with this in the first half.
Here's Jordan Ashton in the corner. McLeod to Cook, and Cook with 12 points. And he's feeling it today, Kevin. Feed the big man inside.
Well, Cook on the weak side. McLeod saw that one coming. Just threw it up the rim and let the big guy go get it.
Cook saw that one coming, and Timmer now with the steal for Drake. Arogandade all alone, and the easy lay-in keeps it a 20-point game.
A little quickness here by Drake in their 1-3-1 trap. Timmer gets the steal. Easy O. Drake needs more of that to get playing downhill.
Carlson inside, out to Morgan. Going to pick up where he left off in the first half, and it's a foul against Drake inside. Goes against Reed Timmer, and that's his first.
Now we're looking at this score 49-29, but we know the Bulldogs can score in bunches. If they can get this thing going and get Wampler going with the three ball, a few others in the blue, they can close this gap.
There's Bennett Cook. Well, that's for a start to the second half. Bennett Cook's point total up to 14 now. Takes over that game-high scoring mark.
What the redshirt junior Bennett Cook has done, he's catching on great balance. He's taking his time. There's no double team coming. Got his feet underneath him, and when he does that, he finishes very strong.
Timmer, the three, in and out. It's knocked out of bounds by Morgan underneath. Cook has scored UNI's last 6 points, and now just 2 off of a season best. He had 16 against Missouri State earlier this year.
And Reed Timmer with 8 for the Bulldogs. They've been a tough 8 for Reed. He has not gotten an easy basket other than that last one before the half. We turned the corner and got all the way to the glass.
Wampler steps to the free throw line. Jordan Ashton whistled for his first personal foul.
Now you can see the adjustments Drake has made at halftime. They're playing with better poise in the half court.
You see Jeff Rutter in his 10th game as head coach of the Drake Bulldogs after taking over for Ray Giacoletti, who started the season. It's been a big resurgence for Drake from the start of the season to where we are today, Kevin.
Well, he's had those 2 points for Drake, or 2 games for Drake where they scored over 100 points. But sometimes on the road, it's hard to get your team to be able to play at that pace.
Timmer missing the layup, the put in by Arogandade.
Now those are the type of things, if you're Ben Jacobson, you don't like to see. They're getting second chance opportunities. Panthers a bit complacent here to start the second half.
Carlson on the wing, gets it to Ashton. Shot clock down to 10 for UNI. Carlson with it, 5 on the clock, fires the 3. Rebound to McMurray for Drake.
Now if you're Drake, you gotta understand, I can't get this all back at once. We gotta chip away at this lead.
McGlynn no good inside. Here's UNI to Carlson. Drives baseline and draws the push from Wampler, and that's his 2nd personal foul.
Well, we're going to watch that matchup of Wampler and Carlson all game. Wampler struggling. Carlson at 17 is really effective. Now, that was at the three-point line, but he gives that head fake. Wampler's got to study the sky report. You got to see it, number 2. He's left-handed. He's going to go left. Get on that left shoulder and make him go to his weak hand. I tell you, left-handers, Brad, they always have an advantage.
Here's Morgan with the basketball. MVC preseason player of the year. Morgan with 13. How about 15 for Jeremy Morgan? 6 of 9 from the floor.
And that's the ISO play we've seen the Panthers go to for Jeremy Morgan on that left block at 10 feet. Drake does not send the double. North Dakota didn't send the double. Morgan had 38 in the second half. You got to double him in that position. He's just too good.
Arogandade guarded by Morgan. Gets the roll to go. Arogandade now with 8 points for Drake. Him and Timmer tied for a team high.
Arogandade has really stepped up his game in Valley play, averaging over 12 in a game.
Morgan gets into the paint and throws it away, looking for Haldeman on that edge. Northern Iowa in front by 19. Started the second half just like they did the first half, with energy as Bennett Cook throws it down a couple times to get the second half underway. In front over the Drake Bulldogs here as we're 5 minutes into the second half. The MVC Fan Hangout is the perfect gathering place before and after games during Arch Madness. It's located at Ballpark Village in downtown St. Louis, just across the street from Busch Stadium. For additional information, visit archmadness.com/fans.
Now the Panthers red hot in the first half at 63%, and they've continued that second. But Brad, they've been a little sloppy with the ball. They've got 3 turnovers here in the second half. Already only 6 in the entire first half. As Drake, they need to turn over the Panthers to get some back-to-back possessions to get back into this game.
Offensively here this second half, Bennett Cook, 6 of his 14 have come in this first 5 minutes. Wampler trying to get it going from outside.
Well, Jeff Rutter ran 2 single screens for Wampler on the baseline to get him a 3 out of that timeout, but Wampler pulled the string.
It's 1 for 7 now for Wampler from 3-point range. Here's Carlson in the lane to help defense.
Well, that time Wampler took away Carlson's left hand and made him come back over his other shoulder. Good defense by Wampler.
There's TJ Thomas drawing the contact.
Now Drake with just 8 field goals in the first half. That's the fewest they've had this season.
Wampler from outside. There he goes, his second of the game, first of this second half. He's got 9 points now for the Bulldogs. Brings the lead to 17.
Carlson tardy on the recovery. Wampler needs no room to shoot that through.
There's Morgan in the lane. Bucket and a foul. Jeremy Morgan just so hard to guard him, Kevin.
I'm trying to think of a way to describe him because he is so good at every part of the game. And that's tough to catch the ball in the middle lane with your back to the basket, but a quick turn scores right over Thomas, who is a shot blocker.
And third personal foul on TJ Thomas. Morgan's free throw gives him 18 now on the game. Here's Timmer in the lane, off the glass and good.
Well,
and Timmer, the first Bulldog, into double figures.
His hesitation move and upper body strength, and there was no room there. He made a play where there was no play. Reed Timmer. Preseason second team for the Valley.
Inside to Carlson. Nice feed from Morgan. Cross-court pass to Carlson. And the finish and the lead back to 20.
Well, that's one of the weaknesses of the 1-3-1 zone. If you get in the gaps and go from the opposite wing to the opposite block, there's some room to play.
Back for Woodward. McDonald with the rebound.
And no blue jerseys on the offensive glass. Thomas, he's got to attack the rim for the Bulldogs. They need some back-to-back possessions.
McDonald can shoot that three. One's off the mark. And it's a last touch by the UNI Panthers. C.J. Rivers checks into the game for the Bulldogs. Here's Billy Wampler.
Well, Brad, we talked about the key for Drake was tempo and pace. This has become a tractor pull here in the second half. This is the pace that the Panthers want. Bulldogs got to do something to speed this game up so they can get those three-point shooters going.
Woodward goes to work. Wampler out top inside Enevold. Here's Timmer for three, and it's good. Reed Timmer now with 13 for the Bulldogs.
There's some good inside-outside action by the Bulldogs into Jacob Enevold, back out. Three ball.
Well, Kevin, you're talking about it being a tractor pull type feel. Here's Haldeman for three. McDonald with the board and a foul. Drake shot that with 8 on the shot clock, and talking to Coach Rudder earlier today, he was joking around. He's like, no, shot clock hasn't got down to 15 on us here, has it, lately?
Well, average possession for the Bulldogs, and Jeff Rudder's coming here to speed this up, has been 15 seconds. And he was a bit surprised that they were that long in possessions. Now, if you would track this game, their possessions are much longer. And now what Northern Iowa's doing, they're making Drake play defense. It's like time of possession in a football game.
Haldeman, the jumper from the free throw line. He's got 7. UNI lead back to 19.
What I've liked about Haldeman, he started early in this year. Now he's coming off the bench, but he's just as effective. Usually freshmen, when you put them on the bench after they start, they sometimes lose their confidence, but not this young man, Spencer Haldeman.
Haldeman comes up with the loose ball. Attacks, kicks, and UNI will reset.
Well, there's the senior, Jordan Ashton, understanding pace and space. He brings it back out. They reboot.
Morgan out to Carlson for 3. No good. And Morgan tipped that rebound out to Haldeman. And UNI to slow it down once again inside 11 minutes. There's a tip pass by Enevold. Drake on the run. Rivers to Woodward. He lost it. Rivers gets it back. Now out to Timmer. Timmer for 3. No good. And Morgan clears the rebound.
Now who cleans up the mess? Number 20, Jeremy Morgan.
There's a foul inside. Will go against McDonald. Enevold, some words for Carlson. right before halftime. And a tee comes right before the break. The UNI Panthers in front by 19. Drake Bulldogs, though, technical foul there, Kevin, right before we went to the break.
Yeah, and they're reviewing right now the first foul, but you can see Innovold trying to block out. McDonald goes down hard. He gets up now. Here's the best part. McDonald starts tying his shoe. The freshman doesn't even know there's a fray going on. Clint Carlson steps in, has a few words. Jacob Innovold, the Great Dane, gets teed up.
The officials right now at the monitors looking to see if there was a flagrant foul on McDonald, to see if there's an elbow somewhere.
Well, Innovold was trying to block him out, and he tripped over McDonald's foot. I don't think Luke McDonald even knew the action was going on.
Here it is underneath the basket.
He kind of gives, McDonald shoves him a little bit with the left arm. That's what they're going to review right now. But now Carlson gets in the fray, and we know that Clint Carlson has got a bit of a temper. He's had 3 technicals this season. And the great thing about reviews now, it used to be the second guy always got in trouble. Now they go that camera, that review, and they're going to get both guys. We'll see if we come out with just 1 technical. We got Jeremy Morgan at the line for the Panthers. He's going to get 2 shots.
So the initial foul goes against Innovold for Drake, and then the technical foul. Kevin, you got an explanation there?
We got a common foul, and then the technical.
So the foul on McDonald, and then the technical.
So they must have went back and called the foul on McDonald and the technical on Innovold. So we had Morgan shoot the 2 free throws, and now possession to the Bulldogs.
Northern Iowa's lead at 20. Timmer needs a few more shots like that to slice into it. Timmer now with 15 points, 9 here in the second half.
How about that move? He's going to his right and comes back against some big bodies, kisses it off the window. Reed Timmer. High degree of difficulty.
Carlson kicks to the corner. Haldeman for 3. No good, but Drake loses the rebound out of bounds. And it will be Panther basketball.
Brad, I'm not sure how much longer Drake can play in this zone because it's allowing tempo. There we get a good look at it. It's like C.J. Rivers loses it off his fingertips. But they're playing this zone, and Northern Iowa's just taking their time, using clock. The ball's not hitting the floor.
Timmer tried to knock it out of bounds off of Ashton after the initial tip. Also into the game for Drake, Corey Kinsling, redshirt sophomore out of Dunkerton, Iowa. Just a stone's throw away from Cedar Falls.
You know, we talk about Drake wanting to play with pace and tempo, but because of the zone and the patience of Northern Iowa, they're not able to get out and run. Let's see if Jeff Rudder makes some adjustments and goes to some man-to-man pressure.
Kevin, there you saw Ben Jacobson, and we mentioned it in the first half, but coaches around the Valley were talking, I don't want to play this UNI team in February because they know UNI is going to get this thing figured out. Timmer with a deep 3 there, but the Valley coaches know that Coach Jacobson is going to get this thing turned around for UNI.
Well, this is back to 15 now with Timmer's 3. If you're Drake, you're trying to get this thing to single digits.
Jeremy Morgan too strong, and Schlatter with the rebound.
And they're slowly chipping away. Bennett Cook back in the lineup at the scorer's table for the Panthers.
There's Morgan with a loose ball.
Well, there's a costly turnover for the Bulldogs.
UNI looking for their first field goal in nearly 3 minutes of play.
Well, they've slowed down the pace, but they're using a lot of clock.
Ashton trying to turn the corner, gets it to fall. Nice drive by Jordan Ashton.
Well, he has been sensational in this game, and he's carried it through the Valley play. Out of Mount Pleasant. Jordan Ashton, 3A Player of the Year at Mount Pleasant.
Here's Woodward to Timmer. 10 on the shot clock for Drake. Woodward has it under 5. McDonald with the block. Carlson comes up with a loose basketball.
I like this backcourt lineup that Ben Jacobson, although he starts Juwan McLeod, he brings in Haldeman with Morgan and Jordan Ashton. It gives him some size outside, and Haldeman, not known as a point guard, but he's doing an adequate job of starting this offense along with Morgan and Jordan Ashton.
Carlson lost his footing. Here's McDonald. Did he get pushed by Slaughter? Did he step on the end line? We got a timeout taken by UNI. The Panthers still in front. This in-state matchup in Cedar Falls, Iowa. The UNI Panthers playing well in their home floor. We remind you the Grand Hall at Union Station in downtown St. Louis comes to life with a spectacular indoor light show every night. When making plans to attend Arch Madness, visit grandhall-stl.com for details. It is UNI 63, Drake 46. Kevin, a lot of attention to that three-point shot, but how about points in the paint? UNI with 30 from inside.
Well, Bennett Cook has been the main person scoring there, although you see Clint Carlson with that sweep move. Cook has been the recipient against that zone. Look at this move. Right hand hook over the left shoulder. Bennett Cook, he is 6 for 6 from the field. Perfect for the Panthers. 14 points to go along with 2 rebounds.
Bennett Cook, a junior out of Ashwaubenon, Wisconsin. His 2 older brothers, Adam and Jake, both played for the UNI Panthers. Goes to work here out of the timeout and draws the foul on Slaughter inside. So we'll be back with free throws when we return. Northern Iowa in front by 17.
Came to Florida because of tennis. Once we landed here, we just set anchor and never left. If I picked one word for Miami, I would definitely call it paradise. And it's become this unique melting pot that doesn't really happen anywhere else in the world.
Join us on Friday, January 20th for women's basketball action on the Valley on ESPN3. As the Missouri State Lady Bears play host to the Illinois State Redbirds at JQH Arena in Springfield, Missouri. Coverage starts at 7 p.m. Central on the Valley on ESPN3. Alongside Kevin Lehman, I am Brad Wells in Cedar Falls, Iowa. As the Drake Bulldogs are on the road taking on the UNI Panthers. It was all UNI from the get-go. And Kevin, things have slowed down here in this second half.
They certainly have. UNI is milking the clock, but Reed Timmer's trying to will the Bulldogs back into this. Timmer with 18, and Drake shooting 50% here in the second half. But Northern Iowa using the clock or keeping Drake on the defensive end the majority of this second half, and Bennett Cook back at the line.
Bennett Cook, 14 points for him tonight, 6 of 6, as you mentioned earlier.
Well, and Cook has done what you need to do. If they're not going to double you, you've got to turn and face and make a play at the rim.
Bennett Cook named to the Missouri Valley Conference Most Improved Team a year ago, averaged 9.6 points per game in MVC play. And those 2 free throws now tie his season high of 16 points. His first double figure scoring game in the last 5 outings.
Well, Brad, you mentioned coaches not wanting to play the Panthers even though they're 0-5, and Bennett Cook would be a reason. As he gets confidence, gives him that presence inside. And then Jordan Ashton has become the Robin to the Jeremy Morgan Batman.
Arogandade loses it, and Morgan with another steal right on cue. As we're approaching the 7-minute mark here of this game. Morgan with 19 for UNI. This is too strong on that one. Here's Timmer trying to will his Bulldogs back into it. He's got a team high 18.
Well, Carlson's done a good job on Billy Wampler.
Wampler a deep three. Off the mark. Haldeman with the rebound for UNI.
Well, Carlson has been in Wampler's space. He hasn't had a really number of good open threes. You see the patience now of the Panthers.
Look at Cook fighting for the ball inside. He gets it on the block. Goes to work against Slaughter. And a new season high for Bennett Cook. 18 points now, and Kevin is 7 for 7. Has not missed yet today.
He's like a golfer in his groove. Cook, that basket's looking big.
Playing good defensively as well. Slaughter fires the three with some space between him and Cook. And UNI again walks it up the floor here. Under 6 to go. UNI with a 21-point lead. Ashton. It's been so tough from three-point range. You got to respect that shot. And that opened up a wide-open driving lane.
Well, if you look at Jordan Ashton's season, it was up and down early, but once they got in the Valley, he has been very consistent for the Panthers. He may be the X factor for Northern Iowa going forward.
Deontay McMurray with that three-point shot. His first basket since the opening 4 minutes of the game.
And we've seen a Northern Iowa use 9 different lineups this season. This lineup here may be the one that Ben Jason settles in on.
Bennett Cook going strong to the rim. Draws the foul on Slaughter. And Cook, you could just tell, a little more confident, a little more aggressive here today.
Well, he gets a nice back screen. Watch him cut through there. And Jordan Ashton, a nice feed. And you like the fact that, hey, Cook's going to try and punch that one through. He's going to make a statement. He's going to put his name on it. Gets fouled, but still a chance to go to the free throw line. You just kind of see in Cook's face the confidence that we didn't see a month ago.
Second free throw is Cook's first miss of the day from the free throw line or from the floor. Tied with Morgan for 19 in a game high. Deep three, McMurray. And McMurray now lighting it up from outside. 13 points.
We started off strong, and then the trapping defense got the ball out of McMurray's hands in the first half. Now Dite's starting to get back in his groove a bit.
Kick out to Morgan as UNI working each shot clock down inside 15. Haldeman fires it, and it's good. Haldeman for 3, his second triple of the game, and he's the 4th Panther into double figures now with 10.
Great balance by Northern Iowa, and that's something they haven't had. They've had to rely on Jeremy Morgan. Confidence in some other Panthers.
Double team out near the half-court line. Haldeman with the loose basketball. And the throw out to Jeremy Morgan, and the shot clock did not get reset, so a stoppage in play. But Northern Iowa maintaining that 20-point plus lead, and Ben Jacobson feeling good. Our players of the game are a presentation of Aetna. Aetna invests in game-changing programs to make being healthy simpler and more convenient than ever. Get to know us at Aetna.com. Reed Timmer trying to will the Bulldogs back here in the second half, but it's been too much of Bennett Cook.
Timmer with 18, but Cook has been playing with great confidence. This is a statement game for the junior. He has scored at the free throw line, in the post. The Bulldogs not double teaming the junior, and he has made them pay time and time again. Climbing the elevator there as he gets the assist from McLeod.
There you see the points stack up. Cook 7 for 7. Reed Timmer 3 for 6 from outside.
Timmer, a 1,000-point scorer for the Bulldogs. Valley Scholar athlete. There's a young man that scores on the court and scores in the classroom. Pharmacy major. 15th on the Drake all-time scoring list. The Bulldogs back in the 1-3-1. Panthers going to milk the clock.
Now, UNI very willing to let that shot clock go down under 10, but now with it under 5, need to get a good shot up. Haldeman open from the corner. They say he did not get it off in time.
Jeremy, a little smile at Haldeman as he said, sorry, buddy, I didn't get it to you in time. But the extra pass by Jeremy Morgan just ran out of time.
Well, Kevin, the big story, or one of the big stories of the Missouri Valley Conference this week, the surprise of the Panthers' 0-5 start in Valley play. And you heard coaches saying this Northern Iowa team's going to get it turned around. Don't think that they won't. Ben Jacobson's too good of a head coach, and a performance like this is exactly what all those coaches kind of knew was going to be coming at some point this season.
They're going to look at this video. They're going to see the trapping defense by the Panthers caught the Bulldogs off guard. Now these other coaches are going to be prepared with more spacing. Jeff Runner with a nice job in the second half making adjustments, but just too big a hole to climb out of. But also the story is this Bulldog team. They are 3-0 in the Valley at home. This is a dangerous team wearing blue with Drake on their unis. They get back to the friendly confines of the Knapp Center. Watch out, they got the Slookies coming in next in the Knapp Center. We saw Southern Illinois against Evansville yesterday.
UNI facing some full court pressure from the Bulldogs. Jordan Ashton with 17 points here today. Cook, he's got 19. Give him 21 inside.
Well, he made a mistake and took the ball down to his waistline. He timber a shot to get at it, but enough strength to bring it back up and finish.
Carlson with the rebound for UNI. Kevin, the energy just seemed to be at a new level for UNI in this game, especially that first half, and what Bennett Cook has played with here in the second half. It's his second career 20-plus scoring game. 13 points here in the second half for the big man.
Well, what's impressive is Ben Jacobson changing his defensive philosophy, because what he was doing wasn't working. They came out in that ball trap defense, gave him some energy, playing downhill, turning the turnovers into points for Northern Iowa. Took some pressure off their half-court execution offense, and it gave other guys besides Jeremy Morgan a chance to step up and contribute. Drake just never recovered. Back on their heels early, couldn't get the traction to get back in this game.
Morgan enjoying his 9th career 20-point game. He's got 20, looking for 21, his 6th this season. Kevin, something else that Coach Jacobson needed from this team as Jeremy Morgan exits there, top of your screen. A nice applause from this UNI crowd on this Sunday afternoon. Coach Jacobson was trying to find a way to instill some confidence in his UNI Panthers, and he just needed a game like this.
Well, no question, and he's got to continue to build upon that. But Jeremy Morgan, you got to talk about what he's done, not only in the Valley, but on a national scope. Numbers compared to what Shane Battier did for Duke in 99-2000 as far as points, rebound, threes, steals, blocks. Jeremy Morgan, ability to do a little bit of everything for his team and do it in a huge way.
There you see Jeremy Morgan, the Missouri Valley Conference preseason player of the year. Over 1,000 career points. He's approaching 500 career rebounds. Ranks number 3 in UNI history for steals. He's in the top 10 for blocks and three-pointers made. in a career.
So it's just amazing what he's doing stat-wise, and what the one that gets me is the blocks, because he's 6'5". He's everyone else on that all-time block list. Stout, Fife, I mean, those guys are 6'9". Morgan, 6'5", top 10 in blocks.
Foul on the drive, just over a minute to play. As the UNI Panthers, just a minute 10 away from their first Missouri Valley Conference win of the season. And Drake, Kevin, still looking for their first road win of the year.
But when you're building a program, first thing you win at home, and Jeff Rutter's established that. Dangerous team in the NAP. Then you have to get the mentality to take that show on the road and get some W's there. That's the next step for the Bulldogs.
Arogandade for 3. That's good. He's got 16 points for Drake.
A.J. Rutter, Jeff Rutter's son, number 14 in the game for the Bulldogs, along with Johan Dolvin.
Top of your screen in the corner. Here's Isaiah Brown. Jumper in the lane. Arogandade runs it forward. There's a block by Cook. Kind of fitting for Bennett Cook. Quite the game today with his 21 points. As Brown gets fouled by Rutter.
Well, if you take off Bennett Cook's jersey, he might have an S on his chest. Number 25. Superman performance today.
And he gets a standing ovation here this afternoon. 21 points, 8 for 8 from the floor. 3 rebounds and some energetic dunks that really got the UNI offense rolling here today. Juwan McLeod gets a breather. Bennett Cook having himself a day. 21 for both Cook and Morgan for UNI. Reed Timmer with 18 points. Arogandade with 16.
Jordan Ashton, 17 points on 9 field goal attempts. Another Panther. Confidence is growing.
This win for UNI moves Ben Jacobson to number 6 on the Missouri Valley Conference all-time list, passing Rich Herron. Now out of that tie for 6. 226 career wins for Coach Jacobson. UNI gets their first Missouri Valley Conference win of the year, snaps a 7-game losing streak, their first win since December 10th.
We have 2 Jeff Rutter, Ben Jacobson assistants together for the Panthers years ago, shaking hands. But you got like the Panthers came out, threw that knockout punch, put the Bulldogs back on their heels, not able to recover. But Jeff Rutter has got this ship at Drake going in the right direction. And the Panthers, first win in the Valley. Watch out. You don't want to play the Panthers.
So for Kevin Lehman, I'm Brad Wells. We say so long from Cedar Falls. The UNI Panthers top the Drake Bulldogs 79-60. To watch this entire game on replay, as well as other games in our family of ESPN networks, log on to watchespn.com or download the Watch ESPN app. Thank you for watching today's contest. This has been a presentation of ESPN. Cook and Morgan lead the way with 21 for UNI.